sponsored annually by the Nebraska Council on Economic Education. The first part of that competition is an online test, and the top 5 teams in each of 3 regions in Nebraska go on to in-person regional finance competition. And then the winner of each region, based on their online test scores, will be named first, second, and third place teams in the state of Nebraska. And the top ranking team will go on to St. Louis, Missouri for the national competition. Last year, about 3,200 Nebraska high school students, guided by about 200 teachers, took part in the Personal Finance Challenge. The top team in Nebraska last year was from Johnson Brock High School in southeast Nebraska. The second place team was West Point High School, West Point Beamer High School, not all that far from Norfolk. And the third place team was Burwell High School, school out in the Sandhills of Nebraska. To encourage increased competition by Nebraska students in the Personal Finance Challenge, and to increase student interest in personal finances, the Nebraska Educational Savings Trust, of which I'm the trustee, will contribute a total of $14,000 in prizes to the Personal Finance Challenge team winners in 2014. This is the second year that NEST has provided these scholarship opportunities. The prizes come in the form of a contribution to a NEST college savings plan. Each of the 4 members of the first place team in the state, which could be you, will receive a $2,000 contribution to a NEST college savings plan. Each of the 4 members of the second place team will receive a $1,000 contribution to a college savings plan. And the 3 or 4 members of the third place team will each receive a $500 scholarship. Now, one effective way to prepare for the Personal Finance Challenge competition is to make use of the Nebraska NEST Financial Scholars Program. This program is relatively new to Nebraska. It's an online financial education developed by a company called EverFi out of Washington, D.C. And through the sponsorship of NEST, the Nebraska NEST Financial Scholars Program is available to every high school in the state of Nebraska and every student in the state of Nebraska at no cost to the high school or to the student. My office began offering this program last fall. This is an online educational program to learn critical life skills about personal finance and money management, and focuses on subjects like college savings, credit cards, credit scores, insurance, interest rates, mortgages, and stocks. And those just happen to be some of the same subjects that are involved in the Personal Finance Challenge competition. The course is offered in 10 modules and can be completed in about 8 hours. When students finish the program, they receive certificates and badges they can post on their favorite social media outlets. The program grew out of my concern as the Chief Financial Officer of the state of Nebraska and as a parent and grandparent of the importance of providing financial literacy education to all Nebraska high school students. That preparation will help you make good decisions in the future about your personal finances so that you'll be able to reach whatever your goals in life may be. After taking office as state treasurer in 2011, I looked for ways to encourage Nebraska high school students to become more financially literate. And at the same time, I was looking for ways to make more Nebraskans aware of our excellent college savings program, the Nebraska Educational Savings Trust. These 2 efforts came together last spring when I announced that NEST would be the statewide sponsor of the new online financial scholars program that I just mentioned. Nebraska high schools started using that program for the first time in the fall of last year, 2013. And so far, 53 Nebraska high schools were using the Nebraska NEST Financial Scholars Program offered through the state treasurer's office. Some Nebraska high schools began offering the EverFi program a bit earlier than that under the sponsorship of some local banks. As treasurer and trustee of the Nebraska Educational Savings Trust, I want to help prepare you and young people just like you all across the state of Nebraska to be well-informed consumers, investors, and business education and government leaders for the future. My interest in helping young Nebraskans become more knowledgeable about personal finances is shared by many others at the state and local level. I applaud the Nebraska Department of Education for including financial literacy education requirements in the new state social studies standards. And I thank the Nebraska Council on Economic Education for sponsoring statewide competitions such as the Personal Finance Challenge to encourage more Nebraska high school students to become financially literate. One way to understand the importance of financial literacy education is to look at what happens when people don't make good financial decisions. We saw that in the early 2000s all across the United States. Many people borrowed money to buy homes, but they didn't do their homework. And it turned out in the end they didn't have enough money to pay their mortgages. And as a result, many people throughout the country lost their homes, and the resulting housing market collapse was so severe that it threatened the financial system of the United States. And we're still struggling to recover from that recession today. Other examples of poor financial decision-making are defaults on student loans, rising credit card debt among young people, and family discord because of arguments over family finances. We know that taking on financial obligations beyond one's ability to pay, whether it's a house loan or a student loan or a car loan, will affect a young person's ability and their quality of life in the short term and their ability to save for the future in the long term. My parents lived through the Great Depression of the 1930s. So when I was growing up in Takema, Nebraska, they emphasized the need to be very careful in handling money. Later, my education at Harvard Law School provided me the opportunity to gain a very solid understanding of budgeting and finance. And as the Nebraska State Treasurer, I use that knowledge every day in addressing the financial matters that come before me. Finally, I want to encourage you to talk to your parents and your grandparents, and sometimes it's the grandparents who have the money, to save for your college education or for your higher education at a two-year institution or technical school, if that's your choice, through the Nebraska Educational Savings Trust. That's a tax-advantaged plan that are an effective way to save for college expenses, including tuition, books, and some tuition, and some room and board costs. An S financial plan can be used at a four-year institution, two-year institution, technical school, and it can be used anywhere in the United States. You don't have to go to a Nebraska school if you've got a Nebraska Educational Savings Trust college savings plan. Ultimately, we believe that the Nebraska Nest Financial Scholarship Program, along with the Personal Finance Challenge, will benefit the state of Nebraska and provide the incentives and the financial literacy information to help encourage students to become more financially literate and to live out their dreams as financially responsible adults. I'm pleased to have this opportunity to promote the Personal Finance Challenge competition and to offer these significant scholarship prizes to the winning teams. And I look forward to meeting the winners at the after the state competition in April. I would urge you and your teachers to take a look at the Nebraska Nest Financial Scholars Program if you're not already using that. And my office can put you or your teachers in touch with an EverFi representative who can come out and help explain the program and help you implement it. Now Jennifer Davidson